Good morning and welcome back to our Bible studies. We're on day 145 of our 365-day journey through the Bible. At the moment we are studying the statutes and laws of old Israel, and particularly in these few days, laws relating to human behaviour towards God and worship. And today we're looking at a summary of the Exodus Gospel. This is Deuteronomy chapter 6, verses 20 to 25. Moses said to the people, "There will come a time when your children will want to know why Yahweh our God ordered us all to obey these laws. This is what you must tell them. Once upon a time we were slaves belonging to the king of Egypt. It was Yahweh who rescued us by his mighty power. We saw with our own eyes how he worked miracles and did terrifying things to the Egyptians, to their king, and to all his officials. From Egypt he liberated us in order to bring us here. He gave this land to us as he had promised to our ancestors. Yahweh our God gave orders that we should keep these laws and give him honor. If we keep our side of the bargain, he will keep watch over our nation and keep it well off. If we do all that God has ordered faithfully, God will be pleased." This little catechism appears to be very old, and it summarizes the Exodus Gospel. Every springtime, as the full moon rises after the spring equinox, Jews and Christians keep a festival that harks back to the day the slaves walked free across a seabed that was dry because the sea had withdrawn. Afterwards, the seabed quickly flooded as the tsunami returned the waters to their place, and their pursuers were drowned. Moses says that their children will ask, why should Jews keep the laws? And then he reveals this answer, this good news about God's favour towards his people. At the Passover supper every year in Jewish households, right up to today, the youngest person present still asks why this supper is special, and is given this answer, which we have read today. To this story, which dates from events that took place around 1,250 years before Christ, Christians have added other events from about 30 AD that happened around Passover time that year. One interpretation says that on Passover night, Jesus had supper with his followers, and for the last time foretold his own doom. He foretold it in a memorable way, using the unleavened bread and the shared cup of wine from the Passover meal to give meaning to what was to happen in the next 3 days, which was for Christians to turn the Jewish Passover into the Christian Easter, and the Passover meal into a weekly or eventually a daily Eucharist. In the release of the slaves and in the self-sacrifice that released us all from the consequences of our sins, should we wish to accept that as a gift, we see two historic turns of events, both rooted in disaster, both surrounded by wonder and mystery, and both giving rise to a major world faith. What kind of faith it was to be, and what kind of God that faith would honour, was to become a point of contention for many centuries. Tomorrow, in Deuteronomy chapter 8, we shall see a picture of a benign God who likes us to think of him as our Father. And I'll see you tomorrow as we look at Deuteronomy chapter 8.